Hello everyone and welcome to this week's Single Edition. Apologies for me being a few minutes late. Fucking got distracted with Eon McMinnies and he's still fucking messaging me as well. We're reminiscing over him being a pesky duty officer and doing 10pm show parades and me being a lowly private being punished with said 10pm show parades. So that is my reason for being late. Reminiscing with an Irish army officer with a British ex-private. But good times. Alright, Reedy, how you doing, pal? Thanks for joining us. So this week we've got a new guest on, brand new, shiny out the wrapper, a man called Lewis. So yeah, it'll be interesting evening, you delightful Celtic man. I am not a Celtic man. And here he is there, Ian McMinnies, who made me late. Fucking hate you, Eon. But I'll love you when you send me those minis. Looking forward to it. And there he is there. Duncan isn't like man, he's a fanny. I am a fanny because I have many uses, much like fannies. Lewis, I'm going to send you an invite now. The way what with Inquisition. Everybody tries to be funny and pokes fun at me, but really I have the last laugh because they're all Muppets watching me. So I've got the last laugh. Hopefully Casey will join us sometime this century, but it is Casey, so we never know. Lewis, are you good? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you good. I'm upside down.
Are you in Australia?
Yeah, I just moved down. I'm upside down on my screen. Am I upside down on your screen?
Oh yeah, you're definitely upside down. This is all like kind of like if we position our heads, we could maybe be kissing. Yeah, you need to rotate, mate.
Am I upside down now, or am I normal now?
You are a black screen. We can't see you, but hopefully other people.
No. Hold on.
But I mean a man of Celtic heritage, not the football. Reedy, listen, when you can speak with your proper Welsh accent instead of some English accent that you've managed to concoct up when you were younger, then come back and chat to me. Stay upside down, says Rich. Yeah, all things look better upside down, Rich. Wee bit of saucy in this before we start. Looks okay, leave it upside down, please. Everybody wants you upside down, so is this some sort of thing that you have with your followers?
Yeah, it just hides my receding hairline, so I like to be upside down.
Yeah, they must do things to your face upside down or something, but that's for another channel, maybe another after 9pm chat. Lewis, thanks very much for joining us tonight. We do appreciate you actually responding to us and saying that you come and join us.
No problem at all. Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
So, usually we'll just jump into with the first question. This is a 3-part question that we ask everybody. What age were you when you got into plastic crack? What was the first mini, and who got you into it?
I think I was about 11 or 12, and a mate of mine lived down the road in my village. He had Space Hulk, the first edition, from, I think he got it from a Carbuso or something. It was mum bought it for him. And they used to invite me around and show me how to play this game, and he always made me be the Terminators, because the Terminators were always harder in that game. And it was always the Gene Stealers that would win. So he made me be the Terminators, and then he let me take them home and paint them. And all of a sudden I thought, oh, I quite enjoy this. And then thousands and thousands of euros later, here I am. So, yeah, that was it. My first mini that I bought from after Space Hulk was, I got the Necromunda first edition. So I had a chat with my mum the other day. I can't remember if I bought it for my pocket money or she bought it for my birthday. But we got the Necromunda first edition. So I'd say the Goliath and the alliegances from the Necromunda were my first minis.
And do you still have any of that stuff, or is that long lost?
Because I've migrated and I live in a different country now. I did, again, I said, I still got that upstairs. She's like, yeah, maybe it's in a loft. And I think they've been there a long time ago, unfortunately. Because now that would probably pay for my habit if they still had that. So, but yeah, I missed that. It was one of the best boxes ever. 40 quid, all the terrain, 2 gangs, dice, the measuring poles that you could whack your mates with when they were displayed, all that kind of stuff. It was absolutely the best box ever.
Yeah, like I remember like being wee and getting, I think I was like 7 or 8, and I got a lightsaber, and like for Christmas, like as everybody did in the 80s, and I think it's one of those ones that like it would blow up, and you just smash it off someday, and it would be broke within like 13 seconds. Was in Necromunda markers like that, or did they take some punishment?
They took a bit of punishment. I mean, to be fair, I never hit my mates with them, but I did. We did use to point aggressive with them, and they did snap fairly readily. So I had to invest and start, doing like we all do. It's like, oh, that doesn't quite work. Maybe I need to go down the Games Workshop and buy something else. And yeah, that's where I went.
That was back when like Games Workshop had that mental red like carpet, and it was just like McDonald's. It was just bright and colourful, wasn't it?
Yeah, just everything. Everything was just more colourful. It was more like it was definitely a primary colour shop. The old days you walk in and your ultramarines were blue, but I mean blue, and not like well playing now. You obviously got your goblin green bases, everything like that. And I remember going into Necromunda, not Necromunda. I remember going into Games Workshop and thinking, this is a little bit different from the Space Hulk game I was playing with unpainted Terminators.
Yeah, I first getting into like the hobby back in the day. It was Space Crusade and Hero Quest back in the day. Did you ever play or collect any of that when you were away?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't collect it again. I think another mate had Hero Quest. We used to play that a lot. Again, it was mainly unpainted. Like, I don't know about you, but when we were younger, my mates, they weren't necessarily interested in painting that much. But definitely playing the game but being creative with the rules as well. I think I played Necromunda for many years, and I don't think I played one game with the correct rules. So it's just playing the rules to make it work for us.
Man, that's the beauty of the things when you were wee. You could just go out and do that sort of thing. Like you must admit though, like thinking back, like through, like I'm in my mid-40s now, mid to late 40s, you could possibly say. Apart from Hero Quest, I don't ever remember seeing any adverts on the TV for Space Crusade or not even Space Crusade, like Warhammer or Necromunda. But that's something you just never seen.
No, that's it. I would agree. Never saw any adverts. It was all through word of mouth, and then you start to pick up like White Dwarf and stuff like that, don't you? And you get a little bit more of an understanding. I think that's where I learned about Necromunda. To be honest with you, is like I went to Games Workshop and I picked up a little magazine. Hello. And that's when I was in with finding out about the world, and it's kind of the first thing that introduced me to the Blood Angels as well, was a little bit of White Dwarf and those Terminators from Space Hulk.
And obviously you do a lot of Blood Angels and some Slanesh on your page.
Yeah.
Do you still have that secret hankering for collecting a new Necromunda army, or is that completely gone now?
No, it's not gone, and I mean, I'm sure like yourselves, it's just you get that. Unfortunately, adult life isn't especially as tight. You start that balance, don't you? That thing with graft, like as you get older, you get more money. I still haven't got more money, so I spend it on plastic crack. But you get more money and less time, and so I do have a Necromunda gang, and I do want to start again. But it's like every time I want to start something, I either get distracted by another project. I'm not talking about real life. Or something big, like obviously the Armageddon box coming out is massive, which is going to be big for me. But I went in the shop the other day, a couple of weeks ago, to buy some glue, and I walked out with a City of Ash spearheads box with 2 spearheads in it and the scenery, and I'm like, you kind of find yourself, you've got it in your hand, I'm like, what happened there? And and then all of a sudden that Necromunda gang gets a little bit further back.
So Donk's doing the awkward pause moment, which means it's time for me to talk and explain why I'm late. Update. I didn't realise there was an update. Me and Dunk usually message each other every Wednesday saying, remember to check if there's an update. Muggins didn't check. And it's just been an absolute shithouse trying to log on, so I apologise.
They told me to update my phone, and that was, I wouldn't have bothered otherwise.
Mate, I was here as always, perfectly bang on 7:30. I was actually late tonight because I was chatting. I get caught up chatting shite to Eon McMinnies about he's ex-Irish Army, I'm ex-British Army, he's ex-officer, I'm ex-fucking private, and how we would get punished and how he would give out punishments to people for laughs and jokes, and I get distracted by that Irish god that is Eon McMinnies. Give him a follow and check out his wee war game as well. Pretty good.
Good plug. Like that. Very good plug. So you're in there taking a mickey out of me in a chat, and I can see you, but there you go, you just plugged you. So I just walked into there, I heard Necromunda, I've heard Cities of Ash, which sounds very, very, very interesting, because I've got this Skaven side and I've not touched it, exactly the same as yourself. The Armageddon box around the corner. It just feels like there's a lot at the moment, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm getting. And I suppose that's Games Workshop doing their job really well, isn't it? Making it keeping it reeled in and things. But yeah, it's like I've still got that. With the new edition, obviously the box coming. I've got the Necromunda, Necromunda, my Emperor's Children. I want to build on that list a little bit. I've got my Blood Angels now, and I refine for 11th. I've got the City of Ash box. I've got a Necromunda gang sat there that needs to be painted and things. And yeah, I'm just spinning many planes to them and not getting any of them done.
Yeah, it feels like, you know, we at times it feels like we're living in the best era for warhammering. Let's face it, as a hobby, because there's just so much of it thrown in your face all the time. But then it's also like it's a bit of a bad time because there is so much of it thrown in your face all the time. You're constantly like juggling. Oh, should I do this? Should I do a new army? This has been leaked. That's been leaked, and it's constantly like you don't know what way you're turning half the time, I feel. And yeah, I'll admit I suckered out and pre-ordered an Armageddon box. But then I'm looking at all the marine stuff. Like, I've got loads of these. Why do I need more?
It's like, don't get me wrong. Like, part of my motivation for getting the Armageddon box is it does give me a bit of content to make for social media. Yeah. I'm really excited on your side, and I've loved the Vanguard there. The chaplain, obviously being a Blood Angels player, it's like right on my street. I'm like, what do I want to do with 10 more intercessors that I'm not going to use? So I've thrown it in the group chat. I'm like, who wants to paint some intercessors for me so I can get these done? Because I've already got about 30 just sat there that I don't put in my list anyway. So
yeah, that's actually an interesting thing because Duncan and I were talking earlier about with 11th coming up. Sort of interesting getting our guests thought on their armies, how their army's going to work, and going forward. I'm a vanilla Marines player, so I don't think really mine's changed too much. But as a Blood Angels player, given that this seems to be a bit more of a melee friendly edition, you've got to be a bit excited for it, haven't you?
Yeah, I am. I think a lot of the rules changes do us a lot of favours. I mean, the main one that's really actually interesting is the hidden rule, because I think as well, like especially for newer players, like when they've got melee armies, they just get shot off straight away, turn one. Like, and it's happened to me. It still happens to me now. And I think with the new hidden rule, like I remember playing against a guy, a really good guy. He's a guard player. He's like brought loads of indirect fire, and he's just like smashed my like 3 or 4 sanguinary guards straight from turn one. And I'm like, well.
Oh, we've lost your sound.
Yeah, your sound's just dipped out a bit there.
The detachment point.
I think your earphones are on a blink.
Oh, he can't hear us either.
No.
Like three points, like all the big ones I use. So I don't think my playstyle is going to change that much, to be honest with you. I think, sorry, I dropped my headphone. I think it's going to be very similar for us. However, I do think we get the little buffs, like you say, with the hidden rule, with the charging rule, where you can be selective over charges as well. So I think there's lots for me to be excited about.
This is where we do the awkward thing and say your earphones apparently just died halfway through you talking there, so we half heard what you said. We don't think you heard us saying that you can't hear us.
Can you hear me now or not?
Yeah, we got you fine. Yeah, we reverted back to your phone, so no worries there. But that's the joy of live streaming. We caught obviously there with your detachments, the hidden rule. What do you think going to be the biggest pain in your ass?
Well, in 11th edition.
Yeah.
I think not enough people are talking about it. The charges have got longer. So because you have to roll base to base now, it doesn't matter. Like that's the big confusion is the 2-inch engagement range. Like, you know, if you're measuring 6 inches base to base, that's a 6-inch charge. It's not a 4-inch charge. You know, it goes against the grain for 2 inch. That's actually a huge nerf. And a lot of comments on my videos, because my videos are summarizing rules, like 1 minute to summarize the changes. Well, obviously 11th edition summarizing changes. And a lot of people comment say, "Oh my god, this is the melee edition. Oh my god, this unit, this." It's like, well, hang on a second. I'm now charging one. I'm now rolling one higher for my charges. So some of the new detachments, like I've seen them. Was it the Bastion one for Vanilla Marines?
Yep.
like +1 advantage and charge. That's now massive. That is massive because that's gonna bring your charge rolls down to what it is. So I think that's going to be the biggest pain. And I think despite, you know, like often they say, like, obviously you can select your charge targets, you know, after you roll your charge, which is great. But a lot of the time you're charging 1 unit at 1 unit. So you've taken a little nerf there rolling your things. I don't think it's a bad thing, so I think they've got to balance it. I think there's a lot of stuff they have to balance. I don't think it's a negative choice at all. But that's going to be a big pain, rolling higher for charges, especially for me who barely I take normally 2 shooting units anyway. So.
So can I ask a question, right? Because I'm still unsure about the rules of Warhammer, right? So if your model was 7 inches away and you rolled a 6, does that mean that charge would have been successful or failed in 10th edition then?
That's a failed in 10th edition. So if you measure base and it's a 7, you have to roll a 7. So if you know that in 10th edition, 6 is fine.
That's what I meant. So
oh yeah, so
that's what I meant. So you could have been, so if you needed 8 inches and you rolled 6 inches, that would have been a successful charge in 10th as it stands. But coming to 11th, then it has to change to, you have to roll the 8 inches then.
That's it. So that's why,
man, I would have won so many games. Because I always thought you had to roll, like, if you were 10 inches, if you like deep striked 9 inches away, then you had to roll 9 inches.
You do for the deep strike, because the deep strike is more than 9 inches. So it's like essentially 9.1. But for the other ones, like if you're measuring base to base and it's 7, a 6 gets you there.
Yeah.
I think we should replay the last tournament I was at then. I'm pretty sure I failed all my charges.
I go through whole tournaments forgetting rules. Like I always forget, like my Sanguinary Guard -1 to wound and -1 to hit, and I just forget. And I'm like, oh yeah, they're gone. And then 5 turns later, I'm like, oh, hang on a second, and you can't just put them back on the table, can you?
Yeah. There's always the biggest pain in the ass forgetting a rule halfway through that you turn. What is going to be the thing that you're happy going to see the back of now? Attempts going out the door.
Controversially, like circular objectives. I
don't think that's controversial at all.
I don't think I didn't. It's one of those things where I didn't think I didn't like them until I saw the alternative. Do you see what I mean? You like always play with them, and you're like, okay, yeah, fine, like just get on with it. And now they're like, oh no, we're going to use terrain. I'm like, well, that's just much better. Why have we not been doing that all the time?
Yeah.
And then it kicks off. So getting rid of those, like throwing the circles down. This is the terrain. I love the fact there's terrain piece, and it makes it a lot clearer as well. I think like in the terrain, you're not in terrain, very easy. Then you get the links with the terrain rules. I think that's what I see them doing. I feel I see them like streamline the rules. They're trying to bring narrative and competitive together. We can see that. Yep. But I think, you know, getting rid of things like circular objectives and like the way that the rules are being written previously, like the 11th edition, just looking at the core rule release is a massive step up. Like the boxes, everything very simple. Is in 11th edition, there's like so many, and I know there will be, in 10th edition, there are so many FAQs. And I know there will be in 11th. I know there will be, because all the good players will find there. But I think there'll be less. I think there's a little bit less ambiguity. So anyway, circular objective is my answer.
I don't think that's controversial at all, really. I know we obviously all got used to it over the last however many years of playing it. But for me, when I'm on here, Dunk will agree with me, one of my biggest bugbears is that a circular objective in the middle of the board is not, it doesn't feel thematic. Like it felt a bit more computer gamery. There you would say, like every game's a King of the Hill game. Doesn't matter what mission is, you're having to capture these random points in the middle of nowhere. Making it terrain makes it feel like capturing an objective actually serves a point. Like you say, it's that mix of narrative. It's putting a bit of a sense of feeling back into it.
Yeah. Well, also, I mean, speaking selfish as well, melee, like for me, sitting on an objective is just, I have to get a unit, I have to get scouts, or I have to get intercessors for me just to sit there on a circle. If it's a piece of terrain, I can put there something that's actually useful, was actually might get a little bit of protection as well. Because I'm not going to be sticking, you know, like, I don't know, Hellblasters on there who can actually fight back and shoot back. I have to stick assault intercessors on there or scouts or anything like that. It just points out the window for me. Not, that's a lie, because I love scouts. But, you know, so that's why I think is another step in the right direction.
Cool. I'll pick it up.
So somebody put in the chat earlier, what detachments can you not use? I think it's probably somebody that you know.
I think it's Rich.
Rick, it was Rich. Tell them about those detachments that you can't use. LOL.
I'm not too sure which attachments he's referring to, but my big bugbear is there is a terrible. I don't know how well you guys know the Blood Angels. The original Death Company detachment is called the Lost Brethren.
Mhm.
It's terrible, right? Because you only get benefits when you're being killed. Yeah. So at the moment when you don't get any benefits at all until one of your units takes a wound, and then you only get good benefits if they're below half strength. Incredibly thematic. I love the idea. It's great.
Yeah.
They've made like 2 detachment points in the new edition, and it's like, why? It's famous for being the worst detachment in the game. Like probably the worst detachment. I built a list to try and play it, and I took it to the guy who works at WAM, and he laughed at me because it was that bad. So I think he's probably referring to that detachment, because I'm still going to pair it. I found one to pair it with that's going to make it not useful but better. So I just don't know why it's not 1 detachment point. But anyway, maybe we'll get an update on that.
I think that's the second sort of time I've heard someone say that an underused detachment that's sort of a bit not here or there in their army is weirdly too DP. When no one uses it really competitively. Obviously, I'm not too sure about the Blood Angel one, but it just feels like some of them, they've just sort of like, they're not too sure where it sits, so they've just decided, make it 2, let's see what happens.
Yeah. I also think that, because they're not stupid, I also think they've got people behind the scenes who are saying, right, what could you do with this detachment if it was this many points, and put it with that detachment? And I'm sure there's a way that something breaks, because there always is, and you look, like, if you look at, the current edition, you go through phases where detachments and plus enhancements plus particular rules break. Look at we were talking about 2 or 3 years ago, when the Blood Angels captain was there. God, I remember putting him with a group of like 10 assault intercessors, like sustained hits free, re-rolling hits on objectives, all these kind of things. You just melt anything, and the unit's there. So I guess that's why they've done it. But like Rich says, I can see him right in the chat now. He says that like some deserve to be 3 and others are 2. Like, obviously, I'm not the expert on this, but and I understand why, for example, my 3 main detachments of Blood Angels are 3 detachment points. But then they've updated the Emperor's Children today, and I can't believe it, because there's one that's 3 points, and everything else can be comboed with something else. And I'm like, well, I'm like this, thinking I'm going to be running, 12 flawless blades with Fulgrim running around, bouncing around, and a Defiler in the background, and it's going to be unbelievable. So, like I said, we're at the confusing stage, but I'm sure we see it, because my thing is that I think someone behind the scenes has. Someone said, "What if we make this 2 points?" And this person said, "Well, I can do this, 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 and this," and it breaks. Do you see what I mean? So,
yeah.
Well, that's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's about a case of like, this is like, for those that don't know, this is my first proper edition change. Like, I came into Warhammer like in the last 5 or 6 years, since just before lockdown. So this is my first proper edition change. So I can now start ranting and raving about how much I hate how the editions just changed, even though I still don't understand a lot of the rules for 10th edition. But you think it's going to be like when I first came into it, then 10th edition had just came. A lot of people were giving out about it. But you think there's going to be a lot of changes in relation to what's getting the detachment points? Because like when the Defiler came out, if you ran 3 of them, unless you were me in a tournament, it was broken. You think you see that with the detachment points?
Yeah, I mean, with something like the Defiler, you see it being released, and it's like, it's kind of new model, new rules kind of thing. Like, I know I shouldn't say it, but there's often this new model often gets very, very good rules, and then gets FQ later. And so people move about. Not that they needed more people to buy the Defiler. It's a beautiful model. It's massive. You could have told me it hits on 6s and with strength 2, and I probably would have bought it anyway. But I think possibly that, and I don't know, like, a few people say, "Wow, massive nerf for Blood Angels, massive buff for this, massive buff for that." when they release a new edition, the armies in the box are always going to start strong.
Yep.
And the vanilla Marines, you say, okay, yeah, this baby should be 2 DP or 1 BP or whatever. Was actually they're going to start them strong because they want people to pick up and they want people to have a good experience. You know, the new box, the Armageddon box, and I have said this in the video. I see it as either a starter box or a padding box. So it's not aimed for people like me who've got 6,000 points of Blood Angels sat on the shelf. It's aimed at someone who's maybe started building their army and needs something to fill out. Or things like that. And what they want is those people who buy the box to have a good experience. And that's why you got the rule book in there, the briefing and that. So if you stick them in there with, you know, a lot of people say like, well, when are we ever going to see Drukhari in the box? It's like, have you ever tried to play Drukhari? I played against Drukhari 5 times. I still don't understand what they're doing. The guy who plays me is like, yeah, I can do this, this, and this. I'm like, all right, go ahead. That sounds great. Enjoy yourself. And it's like, so I understand why they do these things. I understand why they make them a little bit stronger. But I guarantee you, like, the box comes out in a week's time. I should know, I pre-ordered it. It comes back in a week's time. I guarantee you, 3 weeks after that, big FAQ document released with everything. And rightly so, and that'll be good.
Yeah, that's it's been a common trend, I think. I missed gaming in 9th, and 10th seemed to go the same way. It always seems like they do pump out, here's the brand new shiny thing. And by the way, in a couple of weeks, once we've caught up to where we are, because they're constantly chasing the meta of what's going on in the tournament scene and this, that, the other, and trying to bring balance to it, which is right, they do that. But after a little while, it just gets a bit much that when you start figuring something out, that's when they can it a little bit on you and nerf it a little bit. And then you go back to square one, you got to start again. But we all enjoy it as much as we complain about it. So there you go.
Here's a question for you guys, right? Like, obviously, is it 5 years for each edition?
I think they're working on 3 at the moment.
Yeah, right.
Oh, 3. Do you think there's a scope where, like, halfway through the edition, they could do, like you would get like the old Dawn War games where you get an update and it would be like the guards. So do you think you could maybe see them doing in the future, maybe like halfway through an updated version of Armageddon, but with 2 new armies to maybe help other players? So like maybe you get the like your Drukhari and maybe a new guards regiment coming in.
They did do that sort of stuff for a little while, didn't they? I think the last box like that they launched was, I want to say it was Sisters and something.
Oh, I don't know what you mean.
Something on Fate.
That's 2 editions ago, is it not? Is that?
Yeah. I don't think they've really done any over 10th, have they? Where it's like 2 half armies in a box, like you were saying about the Cities of Ash. Here's 2 spearheads, off you go. Yeah, they sort of seem to have slowed down on that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I think it's nice. You can see with the Armageddon, the link, the narrative. I think this is something they could probably do. And if you thought of it, chances are that they've probably I thought of it, because what the things they've done is they've done a lot of factions. They said, right, these are the factions that are Armageddon, you know, and they talk about the Crimson Fist, for example. So we're probably going to see Crimson Fist pop up in a box. Like you said, the Guard are always there. The Guard are everywhere because there's billions and trillions of them. You could see an ice box would be a Guard versus someone else, for example, like a Guard versus Drukhari box or something like that, which I think would be a nice idea. There is scope for it, and it would be nice, and they could drop that with a rules update and things. So you know,
it's like when we all knew that Elements was coming, like, we all kind of hypothesized it. We all thought it was going to be the Orcs. And I know you're a big Blood Angels fan, but would you prefer to have seen any new Space Marine legions be given a bit of love, like the White Scars or maybe some other loyalist faction? Or are you happy that it was the Blood Angels?
It's not really Blood Angels. It's more like someone said it's like vanilla angels painted red.
Yeah.
But no, it's nice to see Blood Angels pushed in. I see what they've done it for the old nostalgia, haven't they? For I think it's 3rd edition with the Blood Angels captain. But I'd like to see. There was this big rumor. I know they released all the boxes, like the Salamanders, the Imperial Fist boxes. There was this big rumor that they were going to get their own codexes as well, linked with that. I'd be a huge fan of that. Like, you know, like I've made it no secret that if I go into Horus Heresy, which hopefully I will eventually, I want to start an Imperial Fist army. Mm-hmm. And I would love to see, you know, that, you know, like bringing those, they're not even lesser Marine chapters. Like the Imperial Fists are massive. How they're not a Divergent chapter, I do not know. because they're one of the biggest chapters in the, well, they were legions then, biggest legions in the Horus Heresy. They're hugely popular. I guarantee you, very soon we are going to see Rogel Dawn. I guarantee you, we're going to see Rogel Dawn. I've said as well that I think that we see Rogel Dawn towards the end of 11th edition, especially with Perturabu coming back, which is probably 95% confirmed. But I don't understand why they're not divergent. Like, obviously, Blood Angels, I get it. Different Space Wolves, I get it. But Black Templars over Imperial Fist. Don't get me wrong, because Black Templars are another army I want to start. But yeah, like I think we'll see them. So I'd like to see some other Space Marine legions get some love. Like the Crimson Fist, when they released the box, said, "Look, this is how you paint them as Crimson Fists." That's basic confirmation that we're going to see like Pedro Canto come back and things like that. I reckon. Well, theory.
I'm going to jump in on that because I actually, before I started trying to properly get back into it, or before starting Vanilla Marines, I thought, should I play with a bit of Imperial Fist flavour? You look at the characters, I think Torgeddon, if I've said that wrong, I don't know, and the other fellow whose name I've just completely blanked on, the rules for them are pretty weak. And it feels like they do need a bit of a kick up the bum, because back at the 9th, they had Exploding Sixes, which was great fun. Everyone wanted to play them because of Exploding Sixes. Then they just binned it off and haven't done anything with them since. So I agree with you on that. I'm a bit of Imperial Fist fanboy. But here's a question that we always like to ask, and we asked it last week. What happens if Rogel Dawn comes back? He looks at the chapter and like, hang on, whose hand is that?
That'd be a good one. What I'd like to see is I'd love to see Rogel Dawn come back and then just constantly be basically at the brink of war with the Black Templars. Because obviously, Sigismund and Rogel Dawn towards the end, obviously, I've read probably too many of the books. One especially Bezzy Mates, and given come back. Sigismund's obviously has his views. I know Wargate Studios put their legend of Sigismund. Sigismund is probably one of my favorite characters in all the Horus Heresy. I'd love to see him come back there. Whether he comes back with one hand or not, and whether it's someone else's hand is a different story. Because
that would be funny though. I was like, but whose hand is that then?
Yeah, that would be another mystery, and that's exactly the kind of thing that they do, wouldn't it? Like, whose hand would that be? And so it'll be interesting. I think he's going to come back. I think we're going to see him.
Yeah, I would like to, because from my early days, Space Crusade had the Imperial Fist, Blood Angels, and the Ultramarines.
Yeah.
So they've always been the core three. So you would think that it would maybe be the Imperial Fist would be coming back sooner rather than later, because they were in Space Crusade.
Yeah. And Wargate Studios said those guys, the Black Templars are obviously the divergent part of the Imperial Fist. But on the other hand, I get some calls that say the Imperial Fists aren't very exciting. They're very similar to Ultramarines. So actually, if you read if you read the Horus Heresy, the Imperial Fists are just fantastic. They come across so well. They're there's I can never remember his name, and I always say he's my favorite character, and I can't remember his name. The guy, he's on a bridge. He's got a very Spanish sounding name. He draws a line and says, we don't let him pass this line. And he's just battering world eaters left, right, and center. And when they find him, he's dead, but he's not got past the line. So he's just basically there. I was thinking, how can you say they're boring after that? And all this stuff with Rogel Dawn as well. When he's trying to get onto the what's the ship called? The ship of the Black Legion. What's it called? Not Black Legion. It was Sons of Horus.
Something Vengeance.
No, it's spiritual gods. Yeah, something like that. When he's trying to get on there and he's in the desert on his own. Come on, it's just a really interesting story. That's the bit that kind of sold me for Imperial Fist. So I know we've got Black Templars, but I'd love to see Imperial Fists come back. You've got to bear in mind that Crimson Fist Ultramarine successor chapter, and yet we talk about them now. Alexis Pollux as well, fantastic. So Powerhouse of the Siege. Yeah, exactly. So I'm a big Imperial Fist fan. I should be talking about Blood Angels. But yeah, I'm a big Fist fan.
Well, what you like to do with your fists in your personal time is totally up to you.
I was hoping that would just get. I was hoping you just didn't hear that properly. I'm a big
nothing is
theory
5
on
inch
this,
position.
man.
Yeah. It's like that thing where it's like that old He-Man comic strip that comes up now and again where like Fisto's dying and like He-Man goes, "You did ways, oh yeah, I fisted everyone, I fisted everyone," and you're thinking, yeah, the 80s were a totally different generation of people writing cartoon comic books, weren't they, really?
Yeah. Fafnir Ran is what Wargate Studios. He was the guy with the double chain axes, I think, or double axes.
Yeah.
The one I know is sort of something Diaz. Is a very little niche story. You have to read it. It's very good. But Fafnir Ran, another legend. Didn't Fafnir Ran started a Divergent chapter? Well, we just did the Imperial Fish podcast now, wasn't it?
Pretty much, yeah. I think he's the executioners. He sets up afterwards. I mean, someone will tell me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's what he sets up because their chapter icon is the 2 axes.
That's it. It must be, yeah. Vengeful Spirit, thank you. God.
Everybody, Lexicanum has been taking a pounding in the last 5 minutes.
They need to be sponsored by us. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So, just you mentioned there earlier on about your channel that you do. What made you? What was the idea behind you doing your wee short videos on your channel?
Well, Camba Diaz, thank you, Owen. Sorry, Camba Diaz. I knew it was something Diaz. Sorry, go please. So I'm a teacher by trade. That's my actual real job. And I always found that if someone gives me a piece of, like, say, learn this, and he gives me a piece of rhyme, I just don't get it. Like, I can read. And until I see it, like, I struggle. So when I came back to Warhammer, because I took a long break, like probably a lot of people in our kind of age. When I came back, I was like, the thing that threw my mind when I came back was feel no pain. Right? I was like, what is this? I don't get it. Like, however, like, and until I saw someone, I was playing with and said, right, this is how you do it. I was like, well, that's really easy. I get that now. So then what I decided to do, like, I mean, basically, at work, I was like thinking, you know what, I want to do something different. So I thought, right, I'll do a few little rules videos, like a few little jokes and stuff. And then I thought, you know what, I'll make rules that are, that I struggled with, and I put them in a video because I think people might visualize it a bit better. So that's kind of the angle I came up with my channel. And I think one of my videos did quite well. So I thought, I'll keep doing it. So, and then here I am, I'm making rules, reading them, still getting them wrong occasionally, but yeah.
And how have you found your channel grow since you started doing the videos? Has it just been like beyond your dreams, or is it been pretty steady?
You kind of go through phases, like you kind of pinch yourself. Like at the start, I was like, wow, like a few hundred followers. One of my videos did well, and then I kind of like send out a video and I get a big chunk of followers, and I think I'm 23 or 22.5 or something like that at the moment. I just can't believe it, and it's weird because you're doing something that you love. Like I'm just literally videoing myself or rolling dice, explaining rules to help people. And I couldn't believe how, it's grown. It's like, you feel like it's grown quickly, or sometimes it grows quickly and slowly. I'm sure you guys know that the way of social media and YouTube is sometimes you put a lot of work into something and it does terribly. Sometimes you think, I'll just quickly throw out a video and then it does really well. But yeah, I've been really surprised by the growth, and it's something that I really want to keep going, and I'm kind of at a crossroads at the moment, see what I want to do next with it, like how far I want to push it, what I want to branch out to. I've looked at a few little things, so I'm going to see where I can go next with it, really. I was there 3,000 years ago when you had 3 likes per video. Yeah, that was about right. Still about right now sometimes.
Does it feel a bit hard when you're doing your channel, though? And this is something I ask everyone who does channels, who's into this sort of stuff. Trying to find something that somebody else hasn't covered, because I know from like when we've had guys who do painting tutorials on, you can go back 5, 6, 7 years and people are constantly just churning out the same thing slightly differently. Is it hard to find something original to jump onto in that respect?
Yeah, and what I found I had to do was stop watching other people, because I found they influenced me. So like the ones who do stuff very similar to me, and there's good channels out there, and I recommend them. Like I'm not saying they're bad or anything they do, but if I watch one of their videos, it might influence what I do. So like the way I do is like the videos I see like of the rules, explanations, and things like that. People like I think there's an Australian guy called like Barnyard Gaming. I do follow him, but I can't watch his videos. But he's very like to the camera, front facing, like really nice explanations, like really good. But that's just not my video. My video is like I'm going to show you, and I'm going to do writing with it. And a lot of people have said to me, "Well, why don't you do voiceovers?" And like I could do voiceovers, but it doesn't really do as well. And I think because people prefer the writing, so I've had to try and avoid like consuming too much. Like I think I'm sure we all know I'm going to say now, Auspex Tactics. Like he put out a huge hour-long video of like the new rules, 11th edition, and I'm desperate to watch it. But I know if I watch it, it's going to influence my next video. So I've got to read the rules, interpret them myself, do my video, and then I kind of go back and look at other people and say, oh yeah, maybe I've missed that, or maybe I haven't explained that well. So yeah, that's how I kind of try to do it.
And see, when you're doing like your video reels and you're doing your roles, do you roll better when you're doing the videos than you're actually doing an actual game? And you're thinking, why am I rolling fucking 6s when I should be rolling 2s right now?
There was I'll tell you now is there are some roles that you wouldn't believe. Like I've even published them. Like I think I've rolled. There was one where I rolled double 6s for a video, like to save it, and it must have taken me about 100 rolls. Like you wouldn't believe it. Like I was there all day. And then there's another time where I could just be trying to roll one number on a dice, and I do it 3 times in a row. I find that when I'm trying to fail stuff on my rolls, I succeed. And when the other way around, it's like that. And I don't know whether it's me just misinterpreting it, but I think there's one roll, I think I put it on my channel, where I had to roll like, I don't know, I put like 4 saves. Oh no, I tell you what it was. It was the 1v1, you might have seen it, versus Sanguinor and Luthien. And I just kept making the saves every time. And I'm like, where was this in a game? Like every save, I was there for about 5 minutes. That's why the video was there. And I was like, but yeah, it's you know, some of the roles I do, I should make a little DVD, send it out on post. Yeah. €10 each. Yeah. PayPal.
Other banking facilities are available. Now you said at the start that you immigrated. Where is it you immigrated to?
So I live in Spain, like the south of Spain. I used to live in Reading, near London, down south. So yeah, and I moved 13 years ago down here.
And what was the reason for your move? We just stuck at the sight of Grey Skies, and you wanted.
It's the Oracle, wasn't it? There was something to do with the Oracle, and people kept coming to Reading thinking it's going to be some sick magician, and it's just a shopping centre.
Yeah, and it's in a small shopping centre with very little shops as well. Yeah. No, I'm a PE teacher, so I like sport, and I was just fed up of just being in the rain, waking up in the dark, going to sleep in the dark, doing my sport in the rain, like, and everything like that. So I thought, you know what, I want to teach abroad for a bit. So I thought I'd come out to Spain for a couple of years, and then go back. And then I came out here, and then I met my wife, and that was 13 years ago.
So, are you fluent in the Spanish?
I would say yes. My Spanish wife would very much say no.
I take it you find out that you're not fluent in Spanish when she's screaming obscenities at you in Spanish and you don't understand what she's saying?
I very much understand what she's saying, but it very clearly in all different times of tones and attitudes, because sometimes the expressions are enough and words aren't needed. But yeah, sometimes my pronunciation, it falls a bit short.
So if you were to pronounce the word orange, how would you say orange and brushes in Spanish?
Orange and brushes, pinceles naranjas.
Now, we are sponsored by Orange Brushes, and if you use Inquisition at the checkout, you get 10% off. Now, another translation I'm just curious and wanting to find out, how would you say Moonhopper Games in Spanish?
Moonhopper Games, juegos de luna de saltar.
We are also sponsored by Moonhopper Games, and if you use the code INQ15, get 15% off if you spend over 20 of your finest English or British or Spanish or Scottish or Welsh pounds. You get 15% off on brand stuff.
Spanish euros, bro. It's not
I know
pounds,
that. I know that, but I was trying to say Scottish, Welsh, English, and Northern Irish, and then Spain just came into my head for some mad
And it
reason.
is actually funny because Spain is the biggest producers of orange in Europe. There you go.
It is. The oranges are very good here.
I know.
Yeah.
Useless fact, I know.
Well, if we ever need you for Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, you're gonna be one of my phone friends.
Very friend for Spanish. I'm right there. Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking about you, Lewis. Definitely not a case of he's useless orange. Sorry. So
with-
how? Sorry, I'm just
no,
going.
go,
Sorry.
you go.
How you said that you took a bit of a break. How long was your break? Because we do find that a lot of people start when they're about 11 or 12, and then start drinking and taking drugs, and then fall away from it, and then get clean and start coming back. What age were you? Maybe not the drug addiction part, the drink addiction part, but what age when you stopped and started again?
Yeah, I didn't do the drug and drink addiction. I missed that one out. I stopped when I was probably about 18, 19 when I went to university. So, and then I think just not for money, but I just got busy. Like I played a lot of sport. I came back from university, etc. And then I took it up again about, I don't know now, about 5 or 6 years ago. I used to use it as like, part of the reason I got into it is because I'm quite an energetic kind of person, and it's one of the things that kind of centered me a little bit, gave me something, an outlet. And I remembered I was 5 or 6 years ago, I was like, oh God, I feel really stressed. And I just went into a shop and I bought a packet of Hell Blasters. It might have been Hell Blasters, is that 5 or 6 years ago? God, is it that long? Crikey. Anyway, I just bought a box of Hell Blasters, painted them up, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember why I really like this. And then I just left my credit card at the shop and just came back in.
That actually feeds in nicely to the question I was going to ask is how have you found picking up the hobby abroad? Because I know it's something that like we have had several expats from various different countries on the podcast before, and they say we're like, trying to find a store could be like a 4-hour drive there and then a 4-hour drive back, obviously, to our American friends. But in Spain, is it a little bit more accessible?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually really big here now. It's getting a lot bigger, and it's very mainstream. There's been a big shop near where I live. It's an independent shop, but it's a big shop. They run tournaments and things like that, just down the road. But after I started getting into it, about a couple of years or 2 or 3 years after I started getting into it, like Warhammer opened the shop like 3 minutes from my house. I go down the stairs and around the corner and it's there. So obviously I spend far too much time and money there. I would do. But I know like a lot of people like go to the little game shows to support them, and you should 100% go there because they're fantastic. I mean, the reason I go to, and I'm not, before we start this, Warhammer, if you're watching, I'm not sponsored, so if you'd like to sponsor me with that, that'd be great. But I'm not sponsored anything by Warhammer, but one of the things I quite like doing is like, I know they're a big company, but you support the shop that's near you because I spend a lot of time there. Do you see what I mean? So, so I get all my stuff there. I go in there. I play there a lot. I've heard in the UK, I don't know if you guys will say this, it's a bit different that you don't play as much in Warhammer shops. But like for us, for example, we're at the moment knee deep into a crusade. There's a league in the Warhammer shop. There's Age of Sigmar. There's Kill Team. Like it's a really like a buzzing community. So I go there a lot. But yeah, it's big in Spain. There's a lot of big tournaments. One of the things I'm going to do this summer is because I keep. A lot of my followers are like, have you got a competitive list? Because competitive list isn't really what I do. So I'm going to go to a tournament, take a competitive-ish list in Spain, and it's a massive tournament. I think it's, a few hundred people there going. So I'm going to get beaten badly, but, it'll be fun.
I was in Spain. I was in Mallorca last year. I got to up and I found there was a Warhammer shop there. Now, I was probably the only Warhammer shop I've ever been to so far that actually is shut between 12 o'clock and 2 o'clock because of siesta time. But the guy in the Mallorca shop, absolutely fantastic guy. They had their Warhammer shop there, he's saying about 30, 40 years, and he says that Mallorca has the best players in Spain. Is that true, or is that he just talking out his behind?
I think it could be true. There's a community there that's quite good, but I mean, there's a lot of good players in Spain. There's one or two in my community. I'm from Murcia, which is just the south of Spain, and there's quite a couple who go to tournaments and things like that. Like as much as I like to think I know the rules, I'll play against them. When I play against them in the league, it's like right, how can I not lose too badly this time? They're really high level players that go to tournaments. But yeah, it's the standard's high here. And I was speaking to one of the Vanguard Tactics guys, and he said that the standard's getting higher. A lot of Blood Angels players in Spain as well, but I can't seem to find them. So maybe it's just me.
I'm on mute. Sorry, I had my child talking to me, so I muted myself. Actually feeds in nicely to another question that we like to ask, just with respect to like the hobbying equipment that you use and stuff. Seeing as the scene is so vibrant out there, you know, is the market quite Vallejo based because they're the main Spanish company, aren't they? Or are you able to get a hold of the competitors' branded paint and stuff as easy as we might in other markets?
I think most of it's mail order, especially where I'm from. But Vallejo is really easy to get hold of. Like I do use Vallejo bits and pieces here and there. But yeah, I'd say in terms of the competitors, you don't see them as much. You see a lot of Citadel, like some of the little shops, they always have the Citadel. Well, it's not called Citadel anymore, it's just called Warhammer Paints.
Warhammer Paint.
Yeah. But yeah, like Vallejo's really easy, but no, I haven't really used many of the competitors. Like AK, I think it's quite hard to get hold of. Well, it's more mail order, so like there's a lot of mail order stuff out here. I mainly use Citadel and some Vallejo stuff.
Because I always thought of interest to me that side of the things, you know, like I know over here now the Monument are starting to bring out all of their stuff, and you know we're starting to see a bit more in the way of American brands coming over to the UK and selling their versions of stuff. But yeah, for the longest of times, if you wanted hobby paints, it was either the Citadel stuff, as it was, Humbrol, because you know model railways are always everywhere.
Yeah.
And then maybe a smattering of Vallejo or AK, and it just seems to be the market is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So I'm always interested to know what it is like in other countries, because you know I think I've said this before as well, that the UK hobby scene takes a lot of stuff for granted, and it's only when you move away from that you realise, oh, okay. Like I was saying a moment ago, like 4-hour trip to your nearest Games Workshop shop. You know, it seems in my back of my mind, I wouldn't bother. You know, sometimes it's a pain in the arse going 20 minutes up the road to the one in my town centre. But, you know, I think we do take it for granted a lot. So it always interests me hearing these little bits.
Yeah, I've quite a few followers from, to be fair, the majority of my followers are actually from the US. And they speak to me a lot about it, and I think they've got quite vibrant communities, which is really good to see. But I have a few followers from like New Zealand and Australia, and it's just barrier to get into the hobby down there. The money, the distance, the time. Like one of my followers from New Zealand, who I speak to quite a lot, he's just like, he basically, because their community is quite small and there's a long way to go. You know, he was talking about a list the other day. I said, well, you might want to play this list. You might struggle against this. He's like, well, I can only play against, I can't remember which three. It was like Guard, Eldari, and someone else, because those are the four mates that live in that 1 hour bubble. Do you see what I mean? So there's no one plays against. But yeah, it's tough. And, you know, sometimes when I do like little giveaways and things like that, some of the people like one of the things I do with giveaways is that you just got to make sure I can get it delivered to your house, right? Because if I do like, I give away like a thing, I need to order it from the country and then send it to them. And I gave away, when I did a Sanguinor giveaway, and the guy's like, oh, I don't think I can accept it. I was like, why not? He goes, I live in Cuba. I'm like, oh, well, that's all right. I managed to find a shop like that sold it at a normal price. It wasn't a bad price at all. It was like 40 euros or whatever. But I had to give his ID, his address, his blood type, all this, like everything. Like, and he's like, oh, crikey. He did get there eventually, but you do take it for granted. You're right. Like, and I don't appreciate as well, like other countries, like how big it is. Like it's massive in Europe. Like in Spain, France, and Germany, it's huge. And I didn't think it was as big as it was. But other countries, especially outside Europe, they just have a nightmare getting into the hobby.
Yeah. Like we had Brooke on, and she was living in Qatar at the time. She predominantly did like Necromunda gangs, and she was saying it was an absolute fortune to buy it and import it. So you said that you're married to a wee Spanish doll. How did you slowly introduce her to the plastic crack way of life?
She kind of accepts it as it keeps me happy. And I would say that I would not say she's a fan of it. And she certainly wasn't a fan of when I started doing this online until I said, "Oh, look, I'm starting to earn a bit of money from it." And she's like, "Oh, okay." And then she gets a little bit more interested in the hobby. But she's really supportive in terms of the fact that she gives me time to do stuff and things like that. She's great like that. But her interest is less than zero. So I'll say that.
And do you have any miniature Lewises or Louises running about? Are they picking up the brush and snuffing the glue?
Yeah, I do have a 6-year-old, and he likes painting. He does enjoy it. I take him to the Warhammer shop every now and again. He'll sit down and paint an Infernus Marine or a little bit, and I'll buy him a little model every now and again. He'll sit down and paint it. He likes rolling dice as well, so like play a little basic game with him sometimes with it, and I think I'll get him. At the moment, he's all like like stickers and football and stuff like that. Nah, don't worry about that. Let's have a look at this. Look, have you seen the new Sanguinary Guard? Because we can talk about that. Have you thought about Kit Back's wing on?
Hang on, you said earlier you're a PE teacher. You're actively saying to your kid, stop being active, stop being healthy, get in here with your dad and paint.
I am a PE teacher, that's it. There's no money in PE. There's money in being good at something else, I'll say that.
And do they do the miniature of the month? Wait, this is going to sound a stupid question, but do they do the miniature of the month over in Spain as well?
Yeah, they do. They do, very much so. I never get it because it just ends up putting in a pile, and I think it goes better to someone else because I'm never going to paint it. So I've got 5 boxes of unpainted miniatures under my desk. The last thing I need is a barbarian from an army, like of a game set I'm never going to play, that I'm never going to paint. So I always think it goes better to other people because they have a bit of a limited supply on it.
Are they as strict in Spain as they are over here with it? Because over here at the moment, if you go into a Warhammer shop, they say you have to build it in store, you have to stick it together, and then you can take it home to paint. But I've seen in America, they actually just give you a box, slide the sprue in it, and say, off you go do your thing.
I think sometimes they do that. I mean, because there's some people who just turn up to get the mini of the month, basically, and then you never see them again. But for someone like us, who's like, we're always in the shop and all these like things, up and down, he'll give me the model if I want it, and I never want it because I just say, look, come on, I'm not going to paint this. Give me the model because I've got, he knows that it will go to a good home or do something. Normally, if I've ever got a mini of the month and I've got like 3 or 4 of them, I guarantee you'll find the bits on the base that I've used to kit bash, or all of a sudden someone's got a different head and things like that. So I use them for that. But yeah, I think it's a Warhammer thing but I think it's because it's to stop people from going in and just getting a model and just going. And you never see them again, and you get 1 free model thing. I think for those kind of people, like, I don't know if you know about the Combat Patrol magazine. That's a really good.
Yeah.
Subscribe to that, and like, I know you have to pay for it, but it's not actually that much money. You
No,
don't have to subscribe for a year as well. Like,
yeah. I think we're nearing the end of the 40k one. I know the Spearhead one is proper going for it at the moment now.
Yeah.
Because I think they've done the big 2, the Stormcast, the guy on the Griffin, and then the rat riding the giant rat, which I love.
Oh, mate, I love that one.
So I think that will start now being the thing until we get towards the end of 11th, and then they start releasing whatever they want to call the next magazine, and it's everything that was in 11th in it.
Yeah, it's going to be just, that's it.
Yeah.
So we've got a question in from Graham, Up Painting, who has asked his normal question, but he's now adding bits.
Yeah. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are, bro?
Kind of like a DLC. Which Primarch would you bring back regardless if they are dead or not, and which one would you kill? And I'm going to throw in an extra wee bit here. And which one would you keep dead if you aren't going to kill any?
Okay, keep dead Sanguinius, because that's the whole lore of the Blood Angels, the whole story of the Blood Angels is based around him dying. Like, my whole shtick is Death Company, and that's just based around Sanguinius. The book, the pages and pages and pages in the book of him being like winning and then getting beaten, and his journey, it's just fantastic. It's amazing lore. And it should stay like that. And the last thing we need is some sort of contrived story where the Sanguinor gets reincarnated as him. Sanguinius is the best character in 40k by far. I love him to pieces, but he's got to stay dead. That would be my thing. In terms of which Primarch I bring back, it's a tricky one. Like, What in terms of a model? Yeah, there is a model. There's a 40k. There's a 30k model, but they need to redo it because it's not great. What is in terms of law wise or in terms of game wise?
Whatever you fancy,
Yeah.
it's your question.
I'd love to see Jagatai Khan back. That'd be really interesting. On the table. Well, mainly on the table. Law wise, I'd say Lorgar, because I think he just bring a lot to the scene. I think he does a bit, bits and pieces back there. But like Jagatai Khan's just cool. He's just absolutely cool. He's another one who comes across great in the books.
You make a great point, sorry, Casey, because if you look at it lore-wise, probably the two most important primates in the entire lore is probably Rogodorn and Lorgar, because if it wasn't for Lorgar, then the heretics wouldn't have won, and the Emperor wouldn't be getting worshipped the way he does.
We wouldn't be where we are. There wouldn't be a Warhammer 40,000 without Lorgar.
Yeah, so you do feel as though there should be like a Wordbearer's army at the very least.
Well, I think like, there was rumour of him coming back, but I think he should. If he comes back, he should be terrible on the tabletop, but like offer some fantastic aura, like ability to his army. So like if you play him in combat, he's like very normal. He's like that. But he should offer something amazing, like to his army, like constant aura, like they can do lots of things, and they can pick a benefit from each like deity or four. But lore-wise, Lorgar's like, I know he's hated and rightly so because he's, but a lot of people say, oh, he comes across badly in the book. I'm like, that's literally his whole point. He's supposed to come across badly. But I think we bring a lot to the scene. I really enjoy that. So yeah.
You could also do buffs with like the possessed, and there's other ways you can bring flavour to that army quite easily. Like you could run it as almost like a mini Thousand Sons, loads of sorcerers. You could run it as here's just loads of demons running around backed up by a couple of squads. There is so many ways you could do word bearers, but all the flavour goes to the Night Lords, to the Alpha Legion, to the respective Big Four traitor legions, and rightly so because they are the ones with the most flavour. But it does always feel like a missed trick with word bearers, and I think nowadays painting red is so much easier, so it's something they should do.
I think as well, where what you were saying about his aura, you could have him like just standing there being a preachy bastard, like one of those like people you see at the weekend praising. They don't really do much, but kind of like
try and offer you a Bible when you walk past, that.
Pretty much.
Already, mate.
Have you heard about our Lord and Saviour Lorgar? But really, you could have him doing like the kind of Mortarian orders, where it's like that kind of Lord of the Death Guard, where he's got abilities you can only choose it once per battle round. So that maybe if he's preaching, it just like puts people into a kind of zealous rage or something.
Almost like a mini vanilla Marines, in that you get different doctrines per turn. This turn, Lorgar wants to talk about the weather, so that means everyone's going to charge into cover because it's going to rain. Some silly little things like you can quite easily spin. It's something that I think in the last couple of weeks, Donk, I'd say we've become very Lorgar friendly, and this is very well. It's very interesting.
I would just like to add a caveat to that, Casey, and sorry for ruining your show here, Lewis. I would like to say that we're kind of turning into, remember when Stone Cold Steve Austin, everybody hated him? I think we're turning the franchise around with the Wordbearers and Erebus.
Oh, but Stone Cold was great when he was the heel because he just played a guitar and cuss everyone.
But first everybody hated him, and then it started that people started to like the whole attitude. I think we can see that with Erebus and the Wordbearers. They're starting to become popular, and I think it's us that started it.
I think if they brought Erebus and Lorgar back into 40k, I think they would make billions, because we all hate Erebus, but how many of us would buy an Erebus model? I'd buy one.
Yes.
Collect. But I just how cool! It's just great to have someone who's just an absolute bastard. Like that's what 40k is about. And everyone says like, "Oh, we hate Erebus." Yeah, good. You should do. But that's what he's there for. If he wasn't there, it wouldn't be as fun, would it? That's what you got to think about.
He's like the Palpatine of the Star Wars universe, an absolute bastard. But secretly plotted the downfall of everybody, because that's basically what Erebus did. He was too busy whispering into people's ears.
That's it. Yeah. If you bought him, if you bought him back, like I think it'd be great.
Yeah.
I would be tempted for word bearers, I tell you. But it's because I hate him.
So
Who
I'm going to
would, right, so
chime in
say,
this. Answer
sorry.
this question and then I'll chime in.
So if you were to bring out a Warhammer's Legion,
So,
you'd have to have a, a good guy Legion as well. I can't even fucking think of the word. Imperial faction. What Space Marine Legion would you tie with the word bearers?
Would
White
you
Scars.
tie with the word bearers?
Just throw the White Scars into the mix. Do both Primarchs at the same time. Boom.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, but Lorgar's had his fair share with Corvus Corax, hasn't he? With the Raven Guard, he's had bits and pieces with everyone with Gilliman. I'm a big fan of Raven Guard. I like them. I think they're really underused. I think they're underseen. I know they're seen as emos and stuff like that, but it'd be great. I think it'd be a cool primer with lightning claws. Like I said, Jagatai Khan and the White Scars. It'd be great. I think what they want to do is probably avoid bringing back the legions that don't offer anything different.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Like offer something different. And obviously, you offend a lot of people. Like, Iron Hands need a lot of work. Can I just leave it at that? Like, they need something, and if they're going to be a legion, they need to be pushed. The same with like Alpha Legion. Like, I think they need a lot of work. I know we talk about it like I'm Alfarius, we all make that joke, but really, let's dig a bit deeper into their lore. A little bit more. Yeah,
I mean that's a great point, because apart from the whole I am Alfarius, like the Alpha Legion have nothing else really to offer. Like you
I
could
think
really run a death.
in old editions, I think every unit got infiltrate, but that was it. Like it was a great little rule to have, that you can sneak your army up a couple of extra inches before the game even starts, but you couldn't really do that now. I think it's like I was sort of mentioned the word earlier. They need a bit more flavour.
Yeah, something bonkers. Like I'm a big fan of like just insane rules. Like Alpha Legion means like, I don't know, you get charged as an Alpha Legion player. You roll a dice on a 6, that they turn around and think that they're on your team. Something stupid like that. Do you see what I mean? Absolutely random. Like that's what Alpha Legion were. But like I said, infiltrate is not really their thing, is it? Because actually their thing is manipulation behind the scenes, like things like that. So being able to be on an objective a little bit earlier doesn't really help them. Being able to start in your enemy's deployment zone. Now we're talking something a bit interesting, a bit Alpha Legion-y. Do you see what I mean? Saying, Alpha Legion always deploy first. They put you in your deployment zone. Now what are you going to do? You see what I mean? Alpha Legion, after 2 rounds, half your army attacks you. That's exactly Alpha Legion, isn't it? Because you don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there should be like at the start of every battle round, you get to pick one unit, and if you roll over their leader, if you roll under their leadership, then you've infiltrated them, and now they're yours.
Exactly.
That would be fucking. People would lose the plot. What do you mean? Your leadership's 9 and I rolled a 3. That unit's now mine. What?
That's brilliant. That's exactly the kind of narrative you want, though, isn't it?
Yeah. And then before you know it, it's just rebooted elements surrounded by Alpha Legion and Alfarius just giggling away in the corner.
Unless you fail Gilliman's leadership and it turns out he's Alfarius. There you go.
Tabled in turn 1.
One idea I thought, and because I remember speaking about this with someone, and he said that every unit in Alpha Legion has a sergeant or a leader or whatever. And at the end of every turn, you roll a d6 for everyone. If you roll a 6, all of a sudden Alfarius pops up, and he's the leader. But that leader just all of a sudden unmasks himself, and it's like, oh, surprise. But no one knows, not even you, as the player, knows who he's
They're like the Shang Tsung of Mortal Kombat, putting a few cheat codes and you could basically be anybody.
Exactly. That's a good rule, though, something like that. Like, just say, like, if you're, he takes a trait from your enemy's warlord. Do you know what I mean? Something like that. Like, if you've got Gilliman who gives you God knows how many CP, you say, well, I'll have that.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, but imagine that you're like your Alpha Legion and you've like, who you going to try and turn? I want to try and turn rebooted Gilliman, and you roll like a double 1. And then the aura of the head, once that he becomes Alfarius, like the Dark Angels just start turning into the Fallen, and then before you know it, some 15-year-olds try to stab you with a dice or something, or a measuring tape.
Well, that'd be lore accurate, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be actually. Yeah.
Right,
So
I'm going to chime in here. Sorry, I'm going to chime in because we've been chatting away.
Yeah.
We did this last week. We ran out of complete time because people do tune in for the real hard questions that everyone loves and hates. We go off topic, and it's what we're known for. But we like to ask silly shit, and I'm just going to jump straight in here. Like, what is your favourite bag of crisps?
My favourite bag of crisps? Well, that's a one. Like, can I say Pringles even though it's not a bag? Like the Pringles sour cream. Oh.
Yeah, we're happy with that. We don't stand on ceremony, even if Pringles don't technically count as crisps. But so you're munching away on your Pringles.
Yeah.
What are you drinking with them to help get rid of the flavours and moisten up your mouth? Because you eat too many Pringles and you go as dry as a cupboard.
I have a healthy Fanta addiction, so I'll go Fanta orange.
See, here's something that I find, Don, right? When you go on holiday to Spain and Portugal and hot countries, the Fanta is better.
Yeah.
The best Fanta I've ever had was in Kenya.
I never thought I'd hear that.
It was the best, delicious. It was the best Fanta I've ever tasted in my life, to be honest with you.
I wasn't expecting Kenya, so there you go. But Fanta lemon especially, that is always like the most refreshing thing you can have in a hot country, and I think in Spain it always goes. I obliterate it whenever I'm out there.
Lemon's good, I'm a Fanta orange guy, but Fanta lemon's good. Was it really Fanta?
Well, it was in a bottle saying Fanta, so I'm a sucker for labels.
It's fizzy elephant piss or something.
It tasted delicious. I could taste the rainbow. What's it like? So you've been living in España now for the last 13 years.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're coming up to the World Cup. Who are you supporting for the World Cup? If it's England v Spain in the final, who are you supporting?
Well, you got to remember that happened not so long ago in the Euros, didn't it? It's I'm an England fan. I'm actually kind of half Scottish as well, but I'm an England fan.
English.
Yeah, England first, Spain second.
So Scotland's third or fourth because you're half Scottish, so you're not really half Scottish.
Not really.
Spain. You put Spain before Scotland.
If I was to tell you my surname, you'd be like, "Well, hang on a second, you're more than half Scottish." But yes, I'm English. I've supported England. I lived in England. That's mine. But Spain is my second team.
And what's the one thing that you miss about Britain? Like, is it the tea? Is it the amazing hot weather that we have? Or here's another question for you, right? See when it's cold in Spain, right? Because obviously being in Britain, we sometimes get, it's hotter than Ibiza. Do you ever get that the reverse where it's like, it's -2, we're colder than Paisley, or we're colder than Glasgow? Do you ever get that in Spain?
Where I'm from, it never goes below about 5 degrees. That's the worst day of the year. So we don't get that. But whenever anyone says it always my friends it's really warm here. It's like we're hotter than Spain. It's like, okay, yeah, you are hotter than Spain for this one of the 365 days a year. Now we're in summer now here, so it's like where I'm from, it's basically between 35 and 45 degrees every day. So it's like you're bouncing between it's just like 5 showers a day, just sweating all the time. But to answer your question, the one thing I miss from England is sometimes everything in England is a little bit easier. Like getting a driver's license, getting this, getting that. It just takes out in Spain, it just takes a lot of paperwork and a lot of time and about 5 different meetings often.
I have actually heard that there was a big thing a little while ago that expats moving to Spain. The Spanish government started putting laws into place to make it harder for foreigners to buy property out there.
Yeah, they did. They do. I mean, I have, because my wife's Spanish, I've been here 13 years, I have permanent residency, so it's not a problem for me. But yeah, it's a lot more to migrate out here now.
So, everyone in Benidorm's knackered, basically.
Yeah.
But I think that's the, it always strikes me as you can, as a British person, you go away, you visit another country, everything's great, it's much better than back home. And then when you speak to someone who lives in that country, they're like, no, hang on.
It's like swings around. There was always good things and bad things, but for me, the majority of things, the vast majority of things, are better here for me. So
That's fair enough. Especially it is always the kick of the weather, isn't it? That's always the big one.
the sun's out, you're often happy. That's the thing, and the sun's out there a lot, and yeah, you'd be surprised how much it changes your mood. You would be surprised.
Yeah.
And was it a case of that you were going to go to Spain, work there, and then move and meet a lassie and get trapped? Or was it a case of you always wanted to move to Spain?
I had the choice between Germany and Spain, and I chose Spain. And like I said, my plan was to be here for 2 years, and then I met my wife within the first month. So we didn't marry in the first month; that was quick. And yeah, I just stayed here, and then. But I don't think, even if I hadn't met her, I think I'd still be here. To be honest with you,
Do you go back home much at all?
not as much as I probably should. It's just expensive. The last time I went back was in February. So, but yeah, it's good. It's good to go back, and I do enjoy it. I still I've got nothing against the UK whatsoever. I really like it there. My friends are there, and it's nothing. I'm not going to say I moved because of this and this. No. I think it's a great country, and I'm a big fan of it. Like, a beautiful place. I just quite like to have more than 3 hours of daylight in the winter. I quite enjoy that.
I don't live in the UK anymore, but I think I fall in the category that you were saying. I don't go home as much as what I should, or as though you kind of feel as though you should as well. I kind of did the opposite. I want to go somewhere where it's darker and wetter, so I went to the Republic of Ireland. So yeah, I chose poorly, as the guy in The Last Crusade said.
But then you say that I've moved. I've moved from out of where I lived to somewhere else, and I don't go home enough and see my parents and see my sister. No, don't roll your eyes. I know it's 100 miles. It's not as big a difference as you guys, but I think it's easy. It's something, again, like a little bit that we take for granted, that you move away and your lives just become something different, don't they? I'm not saying that. Oh, look at me! I'm one of you. I'm an ex. But it's. Your lives get to a place where you're either constantly doing stuff, or your priorities are changed, and kids obviously being a big one. But life gets in the way.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Fuck you, dog. And there you go. Look, even Ewan said exactly the same thing. But yeah, would you say as well, just with the emigrating thing? You say obviously that you miss how easy certain bureaucratic tasks are. Is there something that, like a silly little thing, that you miss? Because it's something, again, like we always ask, like we do get a bit snack heavy here, but
I'm not even let you finish. British sausages are just much better, hands down. Without, obviously, the sentence I'm just about to utter is going to bring me reams of abuse, but I'm a big sausage lover, and the British sausages just doesn't go. Is just the best, and I miss them every day. I think about them.
I was home 2 weeks ago, and I get the flight over and I get the flight back. I always bring back square sausage, and I always get stopped, and I was bringing back black pudding, and the guy was like to me, "Oh, it's a bit guffy," and I was like, "Yes, it is." He just looked at me as though, "Shut up, you."
Sausage chat is great. I love sausage chat. But Ewan has jumped in with a proper question. When you are painting, what are you listening to? Because we do expand this out. I will jump in there as well. We're listening to music. You've got podcast on, audio books. You've got the telly on. What's going on in the background?
I put on the live streams of Warhammer games, the tournaments, because I like to learn and listen to the rules of other factions and things like that. I know it sounds a bit nerdy, but that's what I do. I love music, don't get me wrong, I don't really listen to audiobooks. I prefer to read them. Nothing against audiobooks, but I'll stick on War Games Live a lot. I'm just watch a stream for 4 or 5 hours, just listen to it in the background. Oh, look, he's done this and he's done that, and it just helps me kind of learn the rules a bit better. So, of other factions specifically. So I if it's Blood Angels versus Ultramarines, I'm not really I'm not interested, but I like to watch other games. I also like to watch the pros play, listen to how they're doing, what they're doing, how they talk and stuff like that. So I do a lot of that.
What's the one rule that only what's the most recent rule that you've learned in the game that you didn't they thought you knew but you didn't actually properly know?
Most recent rule. That's a good question. God, most recent rule. Can't think now. That's it's hard because all the 11th edition stuff has come out, and so like I'm kind of like still learning the new rules there. In terms of 10th edition, a lot of the guard orders, I'd say, because I played against guard. He's like, oh, I can do this and I can do this. Like, can you? And so you get to understand what the guard can do. That's why I like playing against different armies, because you learn what they do, and then the next time you don't get caught out by it. I remember the first time I played World Eaters 5 or 6 years ago. It's like just Surge moved into my face. I was like, oh, and I didn't realize he could do it. And then so that's why I like playing against different armies, really.
Makes sense. I'm going to jump in with 2 more off-topic stuff because I do like our off-topic questions. Sticking with music,
yeah.
And actually I'll jump it into other things. What has been the most recent band you've discovered or bit of music that you like, and what's been the most recent film or TV show that you've enjoyed watching?
TV show's tricky because I don't really watch that many series. I tend to go for like YouTube videos and things like that. So I'd say like YouTube, I watch like a lot of Arbeiter Ian. I don't know if you watch him. He's like really law heavy. I love him. So that's the thing. What he does, like book reviews with like Mirror Manga. Like, I really enjoy those. I didn't realize he had a second channel, so I'll go that. In terms of music, like that sounds a bit weird, but I'm a big drum and bass fan. So I do a lot of running. So like when I'm relaxed, I listen to like indie, and when I'm running, I do a lot of drum and bass. So I've been listening to a lot of like Fox Stevenson, like things like that. He's quite new. But yeah, I suppose those are the 2.
Nothing weird about drum and bass. I like a bit of drum and bass. I don't think I've ever grown up when it comes to music. I listen to a lot of stuff I still used to when I was 20, and I feel old as shit. But if I'm running, it needs pace. So that sort of thing makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I had a run.
No, but you go for your preambles around like the mountains and stuff, don't you?
Well, I did go and do a 5K and ended up waddling 4.9 of that K. I needed the toilet. That was, I think, the last time I went for a proper run. But yeah, as your kid, here's a question, right? So obviously you're English, well, British.
Yep.
Do you speak to your child in Spanish or do you speak to your child in English?
I speak in English and my wife speaks in Spanish, so therefore he speaks both languages. And
what kind of accent does he have? Because like my son's 19. He was born in Scotland, but he's been raised in Ireland all his life, so he's got a thick Donegal accent, but his Scottish accent's quite funny. Does your son have that sort of thing going on?
Because I don't really have that much of an accent, so I'm kind of a boring Thames Valley accent kind of guy. His accent's all right. In Spanish, he speaks better Spanish than me and better English than my wife. So.
So you're going to end up being like my dad and trying to take him on holidays to countries where you don't quite speak the lingo properly, expecting him to be able to just jump in, and he's not going to have a bloody clue.
He already does it anyway. Whenever I'm speaking in Spanish to someone else, he always jumps in and is like, "Why are you saying that?" I was like, "You're 6. Come on, give me a break."
You're painting shite as well, by the way.
Yeah.
Kids have got an amazing habit of doing that, just jumping in at the wrong time and fucking you up.
Oh, like I was over in Scotland with my friends, and we went out to the pub quiz, and one of my mates absolutely smashed at his face, and ended up like pissing all over his TV cabinet, right, and in a drunken haze, and then he was using towels to clean it up. So his girlfriend was away down to London at the weekend there to go and watch Boyzone or Westlife, and her mum and her sister came over just to see how he was doing, and the mum went, "Where's the rug? What happened to the rug?" And then he went, "Oh, Lisa didn't like it, so I ended up putting it in the garage because she just wanted rid of it." Yeah. And then his wee 4-year-old daughter piped in, "No, Daddy, you peed all over it." Yeah.
Exactly
Like
right.
Ted's.
That's exactly what they like. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hard
like
one.
that's it's Ted's. Who would have them? Good
Yeah.
idea at the time.
Yeah, my idea. Whoops. Right. I'll get back onto a hobby question. Probably going to be one of my last ones. With 11th, obviously, you say you've got your Blood Angels, you've got your Emperor's Children, you got your little secret fetish for the Imperial Fists. With Armageddon coming out, will you give some dedication to the Orcs, do you think? Or are you going to just at some point think, you know what, let's go completely different and pick an army I've never done before?
Now I'm going to have 2,000 points of art. Orcs will be my next priority, I think. So I want to do a tournament ready Blood Angels list for 11th, and then 2,000 points of Orcs. So I'm going to be building it based off the Armageddon box. I'm going to take the Armageddon box. I'm going to kind of build 2,000 points of base out of it. And so, yeah, I'm going to put a lot of love into the Orcs.
And do you have a
what?
paint scheme in mind, or
Yeah.
are you just going to go traditional green?
I do have a little paint scheme in mind, yes, but I'm kind of umming and ahhing. So I'm looking at I think, I'm remembering the names now. Death Skulls. It's like a little blue.
Yep.
Because they're scavengers, and I like the idea of. Well, I think I've shared this, so it's not top secret. So I'm going to buy a few things from other factions as well, and kind of like mix and match and kick bash. Like the idea of having like a war track with like the armor of like like a devilfish from whatever, for a tower. Like that. So I haven't quite pieced together what I'm going to do yet, but that's what's going to be.
I can't remember the guy's name. Orc Daggers, I think it was. Dunk. We had him on ages ago, and he does the. I'm going to murder it again. The yellow ones, with all the flash kits, and his approach to it was exactly the same. He was just like, right, I'm going to buy stuff. I'm going to rip stuff off. Anything that doesn't look like it could fit in the army, I'm going to make it fit. And I think that's part of the joy of Orcs is you can just look at stuff and be like, sod it. And it's not even just Warhammer kits. You can do it with any kit when it comes to an Orc. Bad moons, thank you.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So, I'm going to see what I can build, really. But yeah, similar to that, I'm just going to go into the Warhammer shop and say, right, I want that, and just use those pieces, really.
Sounds good.
That's going to be one of my last questions as well, because we are approaching 9 o'clock, which means it's nearly Love Island time.
There we go.
I need to put my kids to bed, to be fair,
yeah. Your house is on fire. You've saved your wife and your child.
Yeah.
But you can only save one Warhammer miniature out of all the ones that you have. What are you saving and why?
Oh, it's a tricky one, isn't it?
It's like choosing your favourite child.
I'd have to save my Fulgrim, I think, because it's probably my favourite painted one, the one I put a lot of effort into, things like that. But there are about 4 or 5 other things. Like my favourite mini is like my Death Company Dreadnought. It's not even a specialised Dreadnought, but I just love the fact it's like there. But it's got to be my Fulgrim, I think.
And how long, did you spend on that bad boy? Because it is a beautiful model.
I took a long time. I'm not, I've no shame in it. I'm not the best painter in the world, but I did take a month, to paint that really, and it was a month of where I was putting a few hours in a day, or well, not a few hours in a day, maybe an hour a day. It did take a long time. I looked at various tutorials. I was quite happy with the result. I still think it needs like a little bit more, but I was really happy with it came out. So
yeah, sometimes you just have to do a George Lucas and say, George, stop adding bits and stop trying to fix bits. It's perfect the way it is. Stop chopping up the trilogy.
I think it's the best job. Like in terms of the best painted, in terms of effects, it's probably not my best model. Like in terms of the effort, it is the most amount of effort I've put in.
That's the thing, isn't it? It's always. I personally can never be asked to put that much time and effort into a model. But if I was doing something like that, you got to show it a little bit of respect, haven't you? You got to really sit down and nail it in some way in your mind, because otherwise you can half-ass 20 Marines because there's 20 of them.
I do a lot, yeah.
Lewis, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. For the folks that don't follow you, where can they find you to find out your videos and your shots? Because they are worth the watch.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Just Death Company Dropout on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Like, if you search me, I don't think there's anyone else that should tag you, and you'll see my videos there, or it should be come up. But yeah, thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it. It's been a lot of fun. It's
Yeah,
nice
man,
to
we've
talk about
enjoyed having you
Warhammer, isn't it,
on.
really?
Sorry?
It's nice to talk about Warhammer, isn't it? Just like, it's just good
Yeah.
fun.
Once the 11th has came out and everybody's done stuff, we probably want to get you back on just to see how, because we're thinking in bringing people on. I think Casey touched on it earlier to see what they're thinking, how their army will run. So having somebody that plays Blood Angels as well in Death Company, see maybe a year down the line or 8, 9 months, we get a good few games on day, coming bringing you back on and seeing how it started to how your journey is now with the 11th edition. Would you be up for coming
Yeah, I'd
doing
love
that with us
to.
later?
Yeah, I'd love to, honestly. I'm going to start playing 11th probably next week. So I'd really love to. Yeah, it'd be good to come back and have a chat, and I'll tell you how many games I've lost. It'll be more than I've won.
Wow. Standard for me as well.
Yeah.
Casey, do you have any final words of wisdom?
No, just a quick shout out to our sponsors again. First of all, to Moonhopper Games, who do say that Cromlech are a good stop for orc bits if you're ever interested. So worth having a look at them. I can't remember the code that you said because it is relatively new to us, and I apologise to them, but you can get 15% off your shop when you spend over 25, was it?
£20 on brand stuff.
There we go. So we'll make sure that we cycle the stories up there. Again, to Orange Brushes, 10% off Inquisition code, free shipping in UK. And it's World Cup season. I'm going to be living my best life, staying up till 4 o'clock in the morning, watching every bloody game. So if you see me on streams and I'm knackered, that's why.
And it's going to be even later for you as well, Lewis, since you're like an hour ahead of us.
Yeah, it's like, I think the second Spain game's on like 3 in the morning. It's like, come on.
Mad.
It's not even a late night or an early morning. It's neither of the two.
Yeah, but to be fair, in Spain, they start playing games of football like 11 o'clock at night, so you should be used to late games.
Yeah, but used to it.
Yeah. Scotland's first game's on Sunday morning at 2, and I booked the Monday off, and Scotland's now got a bank fucking holiday because of it. All kind carols came through for the Scots, and gave us all a bank holiday Monday off. Because it might be the last time we played a World Cup for another 27 years, 28 times, 8 years.
Got to enjoy it while you can.
Yeah. We've got to. As long as I win it beat, I'm happy. Folks, we have the Northeast Ginger Baldy legend himself, Dan from Warhammer Pod. He is going to come on next week, hopefully, and talk about how 11th is changing for the better or the worse for Necrons, and catch up with all things non-car insurance related and Newcastle. Thanks to our guest again, Lewis. Folk, give him a big follow. Lewis, thanks again for coming on. We'll let you go off because I'm 10 minutes late for Love Island. And we'll see you next week, folks. See you
No
later on.
problem. Thanks, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Take it easy.
Good luck.